A series of discussions will be taking place across the country, focusing on the challenges and solutions facing women. This event, supported by the United Nations Women and the Commission for Gender Equality, began today. They called the Standard Bank Top Women Conference for 2019. For more on this, I'm joined by Catherine Munjoma. She's the Executive Head of Digital E-commerce and Social Media at Standard Bank, and Vuyo Dubese, who is a professional in technology, innovation and media. Thanks both so much for your time on SABC News. Vuyo, perhaps I'll start with you. You've got a very exciting job, and then you also do work with something called Hype Girl, which teaches Girl Hype, which teaches black women how to code.
That's correct. So in my 9 to 5, as I like to call it, I'm in impact investing as an associate in impact acceleration, where we accelerate the work done by startups who are embedded in socioeconomic as well as environmental change, and not just the financial return on business. And then with Girl Hype, which is my 5 to 9, I chair the board for Girl Hype, which is a non-profit company that essentially teaches young black girls how to code and transfers the leadership skills to ensure that we continue raising the profile on economic development as to empower top women as well as young women in Africa to do that.
Catherine, during Women's Month, we always see lots of events, lots of pink, lots of fluff, but often a worry that there's no substance. So how do you make sure that your event has substance? Tell us about who's there and why perhaps it's not just a fluffy thing.
Thank you for having me on the show. At Standard Bank, we don't really invest in fluff. We're really about making a real difference in people's lives. We care about people. So events such as the Standard Bank Top Women's Awards is one such that is not about the fluff. It is really a support that makes sure that we invest in women. And they say when you invest in a woman, you're actually contributing to the economy. And the fluff is not there. You were there today at the conference, and you will have noticed that we had really notable speakers. We had Caster Semenya, we had Mrs. Motsepe, and we had the CEO of the PwC. So really notable CEOs, acclaimed women, accomplished women, and they're really there to impart their knowledge to other business ladies, to other business women. And what I really enjoyed is that there were young women, students, who also attended the Top Women events. So we're actually contributing to society right from the bottom, from empowering young girls to hear and be really motivated by these women who have risen from really very humble beginnings to managing conglomerates. So we're not about the fluff, but we really are about making a difference and fixing each other's crowns.
When it comes to careers, we're hearing about people like Dr. Motsepe at that event. The careers of the future are going to be ones that are very different from, say, being a doctor, being a lawyer. How would you advise perhaps young women who are watching, who also want to become top women later on in the future, to upskill themselves, particularly when it comes to tech? Absolutely.
I think that there's a lot of organizations, be it the private or the public sector, that is investing to ensure that we are upskilling, and particularly to the future of work, and that we are tech adjacent, we future adjacent, we Africa adjacent to the empowerment that is to happen. So definitely upskilling in the likes of data science, in the likes of machine learning and coding to prepare yourself. And I think also being a part of movements and I guess events and networks, communities like a Standard Bank Top Women, because this is where, as my colleague was mentioning, that there is this relationship between not only high level but also junior, and you have a mix of private and public sector. You have intrapreneurs, you have entrepreneurs, you have students who were also there, which was incredible, but having mentors and sponsors where you get the opportunity to network, where you get the opportunity to share the skills and expertise, and also celebrate as we are raising the profile of organizations and women who are just contributing immensely to empowering top women.
When we speak about tech and the future, there's a sense of hope, there's a sense of teaching young women who are our future to implement that and go forward with that. But there's also, like with, if you're looking at Standard Bank, a decision to close 91 branches, 1,200 people possibly losing their jobs. So it's not always perhaps the best thing. How do you balance those two, and what are you saying at events like this about things like that?
Digital is actually a tool that's supposed to empower you. Why we are so vested in building a digital capability within the bank or making sure that people are able to bank digitally is because it actually empowers people. Imagine having a bank in the palm of your hand. You have this bank available to you 24/7. You are not restricted to bank opening hours. And this is really something that even helps our young women, our business leaders, even the upcoming top women, because now you don't really only conduct business during working hours. Digital allows you to be online, on call 24/7. So it's not something that people should be scared of. It is actually something that is there to empower them and to just make us more accessible. We're at the beck and call of our customers.
But I suppose my question was about in the South African context, where we've just seen Statistics South Africa saying our unemployment rate is at 29%, which is, I think, the worst in almost a decade. And then we're seeing the effects of that. And I think the justification for Standard Bank closing down those branches was to go digital. So perhaps I'm asking, how do you balance those two when you're trying to say we're going into the future, but also the effects of digital are contributing towards unemployment in the South African context?
I think people can actually look at it in a different way. Like I said, it's really about empowering themselves. When people look at digital, we're giving them different avenues of accessing employment, of accessing information, of accessing content. I mean, you only have to visit our website or even our social media platforms, where you're going to be faced with lots of interactive content and information about how to navigate this really, it's quite an easy environment called digital, and how it can really empower our people to become entrepreneurs, to employ other people, to really rally behind the South Africa Inc. through digital.
As we're about to close off, solutions to challenges are going to come, and you've spoken about how African solutions are going to come from young people, from using things like tech. I heard someone saying that Africa is not going to come up with the next Facebook or the next Twitter, but we are going to come up with perhaps the next water purification system and the like. Is that a correct assessment?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, whenever you're talking impact, I think that that's a really good scope to look at, especially Africa. When we're talking food security, you're seeing some of the most innovative startups coming out of Africa, which are, led by young people, which are led by young women as well. So I think whenever we're talking the future of Africa, where we really are not concerned with, I'd say the fluff of it. I mean, it's really great to connect on Facebook, to connect on WhatsApp, but I think where, we're focused on unemployment, on having, organizations like a Standard Bank contributing to that and enabling those solutions, that's where I think the focus should be. When we're talking agriculture, when we're talking education, that's where you're seeing all of these fourth industrial revolution tools being implemented in as well and embedded in. So I think that for me is really the exciting era where we're beginning to see also a lot of investment being poured into those sectors, and not just the fintech, which Africa and of course Kenya is so lovely lovelily known for.
When we're speaking about these top women and the women that are profiled and put together with younger women as well, what kind of industries are you seeing emerging? And we spoke a little bit earlier on about the different kind of careers that are also profiled there. There's our foreign editor, Sophie McQueen, behind you as well.
We're looking at different sectors. We're looking at agriculture. We're looking at something as basic as fashion, or not basic, something as fundamental as fashion. We're seeing people who are going into mining. We're seeing people who are going into agric in the citrus sector, for example. So across multiple sectors, this is what we witnessed today at the Standard Bank Top Women Award.
Thanks both so much for your time. Catherine Mundroma, who's the Executive Head of Digital E-Commerce and Social Media Marketing, joining me there, and Vuyo Dubese, who is a professional in technology, innovation and media.